GoPro? What are you doing hiding in there, buddy? Are you jealous that I'm thinking about getting a Karma? Are you unhappy with the front helmet mount that you've got? Alright, let's see if we can do something about that. So this is my current camera setup. Now I usually have the Sena Bluetooth backpack connected to it, but it works all right. The problem is for me that it's asymmetrical, and I'm a bit of a stickler on that type of thing. And then if I can remove this thing, as you can see, if I'm not wearing my GoPro, the thing's a bit unsightly. It's off center and I just don't think it looks great. I mean, obviously I could paint the double-sided tape that I added in there because I'm mounting on a more curved surface than the curved GoPro mount can handle. But regardless, I don't like this setup, so I'm gonna do something about it. So the first thing I want to use is I purchased this head strap and quick clip from GoPro. I'm actually not interested in the head strap. It is the quick clip that I'm looking for. So the nice thing about this clip is that it's got the nice GoPro branding on it. But the problem is it is really intended to clip onto an article of clothing or a hat or something like that. So it's really not appropriate to be trying to clip into the front section because of my helmet, because unlike on the sides, as you can see where my Sena mounts, you can actually get in and just attach to the outer shell, but in this area the chin padding or guard, it doesn't allow you to do that. So instead of clipping, I'm going to adhere this to the helmet, but I'm essentially going to cut off half of this unit. Once you get close to the end, you can just bend it off, and there we go. All right, if you're really anal retentive, you can maybe sand or file this down, but I really don't think she looks terrible to me. Let's take maybe some of the rough edges off. But there you go, you can see the kind of curved lip that I've still got remaining on there. The next step is to get some alcohol of some sort. Swab. As you can see, this guy's got a bit of curvature to it. So you can see, looking here, that it's not a perfect fit. So really, when we're applying the double-sided tape, we're going to want to put maybe multiple layers at the top and multiple at the bottom, with kind of a maybe single layer in the middle. I bought this Scotch, what is it? Extremely strong double-sided tape, so don't cheap out on this stuff. It's really the only thing that's holding this mount, and that's your camera to your helmet. So for mine, I went with a single layer. I folded it back, essentially creating a double layer at the very tip, and then I added in another layer just for a section of the contour where it doesn't line up very well. Then you want to make sure to line this up and get her dead center, because you really only get one go with this. I'm not sure if you can see that. There's still some slight gaps in there. You can see how it's nice clean bottom curve there. And it's important to keep that curve on the unit, because as you can see, the actual mount connects to the curved part. So if you remove too much of that, you're removing some of the structure of this mount itself. So what I've used in the past is my GoPro grips, but you gotta get it right around her. So that's gonna be step one for me, but I actually will use gravity for an overnight period. So I actually sit the helmet so that it's sitting on this surface, and I'll actually put just some dumbbell weights into the helmet, and that makes sure that things get sandwiched down. But this GoPro grip or some other clamp should work quite well. All right, that's my sketchy little setup for applying some weight and pressure onto the double-sided tape attachment. So I'll probably leave that overnight. So it should compress the tape and fill in the gaps. Just be careful that you don't drop your helmet I might put a pillow down below this just in case it keels over backwards. But okay, so the next step is to disassemble this guy that I was using. So see, I have this screw that works with, or bolt that works with GoPro. It actually came with my RAM mount attachment, so they had standard GoPro-like hardware, but also they provided a couple of screws, so I find this thing very useful. I also picked up an actual helmet front mount kit. But I don't want most of this stuff, but what I'm really interested in is the fact that these are straight through. So depending on the exact length that I want, I may be able to get away with using this. Now, I'm not convinced that I will, so I'm going to assume that I'm going to be using the hardware that I've got. I'm going to put the screw back in. What's also nice about this is the fact that you do have the direction or the sort of 90-degree twist. It means that where this mounts the camera, I have this control, and then if things aren't perfectly straight, I have another axis that I could correct here. Now, because I usually ride with the Sena, that's the mount I'm going to use to make sure this fits correctly. The first time I did this, I wanted to hide the screw so that this bit was showing forward, but as I'll show you, at least on my helmet, it's nice to have this bit because it protrudes a little further and you can have the mount rest up against the So if you look at the, send this out a bit. So if you look at the direction of the camera, it's pretty much in line with the direction that your eyes are typically looking. And so that's the angle I was going for. So you can see that camera mount will basically be capturing everything that you are looking at, but basically from your beard's perspective. And as you can see, things are a bit more symmetrical. It's still a bit busy. if I had another one of these screws, I might implement it somewhere, but it is, this control is important to be able to flip the camera down and adjust the controls on the Cena. And this one is basically the one I use as a quick release if I'm removing the whole camera setup and just going for a ride without it. So that's how she looks. I think it looks great. I'll show you one more time how it looks without the camera. And you can see it's nice and clean. It's got the GoPro branding on there. And in my mind, she looks really sweet. Alright guys, thanks for watching.